Hi crafters, Raquel here from Paints and Glitter coming along for scrapbookpal.com. Today I'm featuring a project with the Pinkfresh Studio Collection Wild Meadow Wreath. This contains a total of 3 dies. This large plate die is the main one, and it does have a sentiment die that says I love you. It cuts out separately with its own shadow. And along with this collection, there is the matching stencil set. It does contain 4 pieces. And what's neat about this is that you'll be able to use each layer to color all of these pieces that you can cut out. On the back of the packaging, you always get a sample photo, which I think is phenomenal from this brand. And Pinkfresh Studio includes a magnet with the die set, and it also lets you know what your items coordinate with photos on the packaging. For this card today that we'll be making, I'm also using Ranger inks. These are Distress Oxides in the colors Bundled Sage, Dusty Concord, and Festive Berries. And for the first time, I'm using Simon Hurley Stellar Paste. This one happens to be in crystal clear. They do come in different colors, however, and you can use them with stencils. We're going to start here with stencil number 1, and as you can tell, I do have a stamp platform. This is a magnetic base platform, so obviously it's great for holding down stencils so that you can add color without the paper shifting. I have a base paper that measures 5 1/4 by 6 1/4. We'll be cutting that down, however, with the die. But the first thing that I'm going to do is grab the bundled sage, and I'm applying it with a small brush from Pinkfresh Studio. So what's neat about this is that you can start off with your coloring as I'm doing here onto the stencil first and then continue on to the actual openings. This allows you to blend out that ink without getting the texture of the brush, and also apply a heavier amount of ink on the perimeter of the images and then go in toward the center with a little bit of a lighter hand. So I am going to speed up the videos so that you get to see the ink application, but the technique will be the same throughout. So what's neat about these stencils is that they do contain these little triangles that I'm pointing out, and you do want to color those in. And the reason is that when you go to apply your second stencil, such as I've done here, and this is stencil number 2, then you can match up those little triangles, and that's all you have to focus on so that you know that your paper will be lined up perfectly with that stencil. Here I'm repeating bundled sage, but only on certain images. And as you can tell, I'm using the same application in a circular motion. And then strategically, I'm going in and just focusing on a few leaves here and there and applying that same color. But with the same brush, now I'm moving on to a different green, and this is peeled paint. This has a bit more yellow in it, and you can tell right away it's quite bright. So I'm only applying a little bit of it, and I'm only focusing on certain leaves, and not only that, but on the little tips of some of the little uh, buds there is what I'm going to call them. And also, I'm not applying a whole lot of that ink, and you'll see later why. But here I'm moving on to stencil number 3, and I'm using the color Dusty Concord. By the way, I do have a blog post with all of these details that you can follow over at Scrapbook Pal's page. So if you want to follow along, I'll have that all listed there for you. Now for more detail, I'm using stencil number 4, and this is Festive Berries. And it looks like I'm applying a whole lot of ink, but you'll see later that it's really quite a light application. It's just a vibrant color, which is what's so wonderful about the Oxide inks, by the way, is that a little bit goes a long way. You don't have to worry about these types of inks, and they're also water soluble. The oxides, however, do have a chalky finish when you apply water on top, and you'll see that as well when we're done with this project. So now what I'm doing is I'm revisiting stencil number 2 with the same colors that are already left on these brushes. So here we start off with Festive Berries, and I'm only applying ink here and there, sometimes on the leaves, sometimes on the little buds, etc. And now I'm doing the same with Dusty Concord, again, revisiting certain areas. This stencil number 2 in this collection is more of the little detailed areas like the veins and the leaves and that sort of thing. And here is the result of my coloring. So you can tell on the stencil it looked quite bright, but when you see it on the paper, you see how delicate the coloring actually looks. And you can, of course, revisit that as many times as you like with as many blends of colors as you prefer to achieve the look that you like. As you can see there, I did use the festive berries as if it were a little bit of a highlight here and there and concentrated a little more in certain areas. So now with the die set, those little triangles I mentioned with the stencils are going to also show up here. And this is wonderful because all you have to do is focus on those 3 triangles so that you can place your die and also tack that down with low tack tape so that you can die cut this image from that background. And that's why the size wasn't too particularly important, but in any case, you do want it to be large enough to cut into. And when you remove that plate, it does have the little holes inside of it so that you can poke out the little shapes. So here are all of the items. I'm also using a strip of white cardstock in 300 GSM. With the bundled sage, I'm splattering onto that. And I'm doing that on all of the other little images that I've already cut out. But the little one there that has the festive berries on it is going to be for my sentiment. So this is what I'm doing. The technique is to make it look like a watercolor painting. So I am using all of those same inks all over again with a watercolor brush and a little spritz of water. And of course, the effect will be a chalk-like finish. And once I cut out that sentiment from that red piece of card, I've also cut out the shadow in white cardstock, and I'm using the piece, there's the die for the shadow by the way, but I'm using that piece that I cut into as a stencil. So I'm tacking that together with low tack tape, placing that on top, and now with Dusty Concord and a small brush, I am actually going to color onto that paper very lightly as if this were a stencil also. So don't forget that you can do that with any die that you cut into a background. And in this case, this is going to come in handy for the placement of these letters because the sentiment cuts out individual letters, not all one piece. So that this is a little bit of a hack or a cheater method so that you can have a little bit of a shadow, but also have a visual of where it is that you should adhere each individual letter. So here's the result. And then here I'm applying each one of those little letters. I can adhere very easily using my Sweet Petunia's gun that allows me to apply little dots of adhesive. And there in the top corner, you get to see the results of that with that very light shadow inside of each one of those letters. Now for the backgrounds, I will be using this Simon Hurley Stellar Paste that I mentioned. Now you can use this with the stencils. I, however, am going to use a little bit of a crackle technique, and because you can mix this with any water-based ink, and Distress Oxide inks are water-based, as you can see here, I'm taking a spatula and I'm mixing that medium together with a little bit of that Dusty Concord, which is a very light purple anyway. Now, using the packaging from those inks, I'm just balling up that plastic and I'll be applying this as if I were creating a stucco finish on a wall. So if you know anything about painting walls, then this is the same technique. In fact, you could use the same plastic. However, I digress. On this piece of paper that you see me applying that, I had already colored the background using Dusty Concord, and then on the white and green one, I had used bundled sage with the same type of application onto white paper. And now I'm just repeating that with that beautiful stellar paste, which by the way, gives a nice clean shine. Now for our card base, I simply took a white piece of card that's 300 GSM. It measures 4¼ by 8½ inches long. I'm scoring this in half at 4¼ inches as well. Then I'm flipping this over at a 90-degree angle. I'm lining up that fold line that I created, and I'm also lining up what will be the top right corner of the front of the card, and simply choosing a background line there that I can see. I'm going to score that and create a diagonal line on the front. So there's the half, there's the diagonal, and it's facing the right. That's what I was pointing out there. So here I'm going to burnish those lines so I get a nice crisp fold, and I'm going to fold that diagonal as a mountain fold. This is going to give us an easel card, and it's going to look really cute once it's all assembled. So here, what we can do is take the papers, and what I've done is that I've used the dotted postage square dies from Pinkfresh Studio. They do come in 5 sizes, and I've cut out those papers that I had colored using both the Oxide inks and the Stellar paste. Now here's what it looks like open. I'm simply going to close it, and here where the diagonal line is, I'm paying attention to the little fold portion, because when I place my little postage stamp square, I only need to apply adhesive to one part of that card front. So I'm going to focus there on one of the corners, which is the one that will move, and it is the bottom left-hand side of that card front. So I am going to line this up as best as I can here. And you saw me apply the adhesive on that die cut, but only on that lower left quadrant there. Now I'm going to apply a second layer. This is the one that I had colored with the bundled sage as well as the stellar paste. And it's not quite visible here just yet, but there is a little bit of shine on there. And here I'm simply going to take different pieces of that collection of florals and leaves that I had colored and cut, and I'm going to place them around as if I were creating a little bit of a wreath. And what's really beautiful about this die set, by the way, is that it does cut lines into the leaves, so all of those leaf centers are cut through, and a little bit of the flowers as well. And what that allows you to do is to actually fold the paper so that you can get a little bit of movement in that, because you can adhere half of it as I have done on this card. Now, one thing that I want to point out is that here where I'm grouping these little flowers, I had put the sentiment there, and I forgot that I needed to place that sentiment on the bottom. So be sure to pay attention to the placement of your sentiment. Now, I was able to do a little bit of surgery there. I removed the sentiment and I moved it to where it needed to be. So, of course, no one is a professional. We all just, love to craft, but let's be real, we make errors. However, what I'm going to do now is create a little bundle with the smallest of the little die cuts. And what I did is that I cut away the edges to that white piece of card that I had colored with the bundled sage. And what you see me doing there is just grouping the smaller portions of the leaves and that beautiful little berry cluster, because you want the scale to make sense, meaning that if you're placing something on the inside of a card, you don't want that to be the center of the card necessarily. So what I'm going to do is, because I need a little stopper for that card front, I'm actually going to apply this little bundle or embellishment with some dimensional adhesive that you can also pick up at Scrapbook Pal. And this is going to allow me to not only have a beautiful little embellishment for the inside of my card, but it's also going to help this stay open. Once you do open that at a diagonal, it serves as a little stopper for when you open the card, but it's also a nice little surprise with continuity of color on the inside when the recipient opens the card. So it sits quite nicely on a table and it looks just so pretty. So the last thing that I'm doing here is revisiting that stellar paste with a little watercolor brush. And all I'm doing here is just topping off some of the little flowers here and there, not applying a whole lot of this, But of course, this is the card that you make to your taste. You apply as much or as little of any of these mediums as you like in any color that you prefer. I've gone for a very delicate look here, and then I've also applied a little bit on the inside just to make it all cohesive, and that little bit of shine is just perfect. So here's a closer look, of course, as you can tell. Be sure to subscribe to scrapbookpal.com if you have not already done so, and also visit the blog for further details and let us know what you think in the comments down below. As I always say, I do hope that you can be inspired and be blessed, and I thank you so much for watching.